Approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moving second. Are there any questions? All in favor, no by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Motion to move into executive session to consider items covered by attorney-client privilege.
So moved. We'll now reconvene into open session. And I would ask at this moment if you would please join me in remembering 31-year-old Leah Snellgrove, who was an AP biology and honors teacher at Academic Magnet High School. She passed away Monday, February 6, 2020, after a brave battle with cancer. She's the daughter of Vaughn Pope Snellgrove and Vicki Ruby Johnson Snellgrove. I ask that you please join me in a prayer. Father of all, we pray to you for Leah and for all those whom we love but see no longer. Father, we ask that you grant to them eternal rest and let light perpetuate shine upon them. May her soul and the souls of all the departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. For Christ's sake, amen. Let us please now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time now, entertain a motion for item 4A.
I move to approve and direct staff to negotiate with interested parties for use and/or sale of parcel TMS 76400000193, with staff bringing a proposal back to the board for approval.
Probably moving second. Are there any questions?
Yes, Ms. Darby,
Reverend Collins?
can you amend the motion to state that the staff will engage the community for making a final decision?
It's not our school.
The property is ours.
I'm sorry, it was wrong item.
Yeah, it's
Wrong item.
ours, yeah. The staff will engage the community prior,
I assume that would happen, and they're saying they would bring the proposal back to the board. So I think there are other steps that would happen before we would need to engage the community. Are you on the right?
what I'm saying is they have, because no one else has heard about this deal or had a chance to have any input, I think the community needs to know first.
Right. Well, I think the community will know in the process that we've talked about. The community will be notified.
So Reverend Collins, would you just be in favor of the motion that has been passed and ask that staff do engage with the community
Yes, sir.
upon approval if this motion passes tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right. Been probably moving second. Hearing no further questions, we ask that you please cast your vote. Mr. Hollenshed, are you still on?
There you go. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Hollenshed, how do you vote?
Mr. Chair,
Okay, that motion passes. Ms. Coates?
sorry, I was going to go ahead and make the next motion.
Okay, item 4B.
I move that we approve the PACE Charter renewal application for the next 10 years, as well as their status as an alternative education campus.
Second.
Properly moving second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Mr. Hollenshed, how do you vote? The motion was to approve the PACE Charter renewal application as an alternative education campus and extend CCSD sponsorship for 10 years. Okay. You said aye. Okay, that motion passes. Item 4C.
I move to approve the forwarding of a formal complaint to the South Carolina Department of Education related to a contract teacher.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote.
I agree.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Green? That motion passes. Item 4,
I move to approve the personnel matter discussed in executive session.
Second.
properly moved and second. Are there any questions?
Hey,
Mr. Frazier, seconded.
make sure she writes it correctly.
Yep.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Mr. Hollenshed, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. At this time now, we have special recognition.
Chair Mack, Vice Chair Darby, board members, visitors, and special guests. I'm going to now ask Ms. Michelle Simmons, who's the Executive Director for our elementary schools, to introduce this part of our special recognition program. While she's doing that, board members, will you please come down into the audience and sit in the chairs we have for you? Thank you.
Sit down.
Are we supposed to be going down there?
Good evening, everyone. I have the distinct honor tonight to introduce some of our most talented scholars in CCSD for a very special performance. I will introduce all three and then move out of the way so that you will be favored. First, by Maya Green. She's a senior at the School of the Arts, and she is Stanford University bound.
Thank you. Today I'll be reading a speech that I wrote for the MLK Professional Business Breakfast a few weeks ago. And although I think it's relevant, obviously in the context of Black History Month and the celebrations going on during February. Thank you. I'd like to begin with the memory. The theater is dark. On screen, protesters are marching through Alabama in pursuit of justice. Police line the street. In moments, the protesters are beaten and bloody. I have to clutch my armrest tight, even grab on to the friend next to me. These were only actors, only an imitation of the real thing. Yet my fear, my awe, still overwhelmed me. I didn't know what to do with it. The movie was Selma, and I was in 7th grade. I'd studied Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in school before, of course. He was the only guaranteed Black figure in my curriculum each year. I'd visited the opening of his memorial with my mom when I was younger. I knew the importance of I Have a Dream and the civil rights movement. But it wasn't until that movie that I understood the full weight of what he'd done for America, what he'd done for me. Upon reflection, I think what I found so shocking was the idea that when you know something is wrong about the world, you can fix it by refusing to stop speaking out. The idea that by going out and physically standing in the way of injustice and putting words to change, you can create it. Martin Luther King's work is not done. All you have to do to realize this is turn on the news. The visual of Black protesters being beaten is not one isolated to historical films. And then maybe you'll see all the other ways his work is incomplete, made more insidious by the fact that they can be overlooked. Microaggressions, systemic inequalities, the fact that I have never known a classroom, even at magnet schools like East Academy and SOA, that has more than 3 people who look like me in it. It is comforting to know that MLK lives on. He lives on in every minister who rouses his congregation to live out God's call to do justice. He lives on in every unsegregated bus that takes a hardworking mom to work. In every ballot cast by my papa and all the people his age who were born into a country where that wasn't possible. In every person who takes to the streets to advocate for a justice system that works for us all. And he lives on in every little black girl who steps out of the darkness of the movie theater into a world that's wide open and blinding with possibility. But in preparing for this speech, I watched a speech given by MLK himself. I was familiar with his quote that the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice. However, I was less familiar with this idea of his. Time is neutral. It can be used constructively or destructively. We will have to repent not for the words and actions of bad people, but the silence and indifference of good people. Here I will use his exact words. Social progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts and the persistent work of dedicated individuals. So before I close, I would like to ask something of you. What are your tireless efforts? What is your persistent work? It is not enough to be comforted by MLK's legacy living on if we are not living it out. The universe will not bend without us. Thank you for listening.
I'd like to thank Maya again for her profound words and for every family member and adult that has poured into her for the length of her academic career. Thank you so much for being here. Next, I'd like to introduce Katie McDaniel. Katie is a sophomore at Wando High School. This would be my 3rd occasion having the opportunity to hear her speak, and she has the oratorical skills that I and many adults will envy to have. Let's give her a hand as she presents.
Thank you. So a few weeks ago, I performed at the MLK Poetry Contest, and it was put on by the YWCA Poetry Freeverse Festival. And the theme that we were given was "The Power is in You, Advance the Dream." And so I thought about it for a while and what I wanted to write about to make it personal to myself. So as I wrote this poem, I focused on freedom and societal pressures and what it truly means to dream. And so this piece is titled "Let Us Dream Again," and I hope you enjoy it. I don't dream anymore. I don't remember my dreams anymore. I fall asleep in my warm bed and am surrounded by soft cotton blankets and darkness. Before I know it, my alarm goes off. My set routine starts. I am stuck in a never-ending motion, and in between, I don't dream. There is nothing in between. Nothing to excite me, scare me, overwhelm me. I just want to feel something in the in-between. I don't dream anymore. I no longer fight to have dreams and aspirations and goals. I just blindly accept what the world has placed into my outstretched hands. When we were young, our parents and teachers told us, "You can do anything you set your mind to." This is a nice sentiment, but in this world it couldn't be farther from the truth. Society will find every chance to put us into boxes, limit our potential, tell us who we are. Why must we be one thing over another? Why must a young girl choose between strong and beautiful? Why must she be identified as a tomboy or a girly girl? dictating for society's opinion on her life, whether she is tough or weak? Why must young boys be strong and manly, an impenetrable force that nothing can push over, or be treated as less than by their peers? Why do we feed into the stereotypes? The more oxygen we give the flames, the higher they will rise, the more intensely they will engulf us, the more fervently we will be pushed back into our boxes. I do not fit into one singular box, nor do I want to. I do not want the world around me to identify me based off my appearance or my attitude on one particular day. I want my actions to speak louder than words. I used to not dream anymore. But then I was reminded of all the people who came before me, who fought for my right to dream and to have goals and aspirations and have hopes for my life. They did not fight for me to lie restless, my fear so strong that even my cognitive processes no longer produce dreams. They did not fight for me to stand still in my box and give up fighting, running slowly out of oxygen and collapsing. They fought for me, for my rights, and you, and your right to dream. I want a picture to be taken of the moment when everything changes and people would stop being slammed into boxes and drawers and we won't be walked over anymore. Because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I don't want anyone to forget how far we had to come to walk a mile in our own shoes. It takes one step to ignite a movement, a combination of thousands of voices united in one singular war cry, a cry for peace, for prosperity, for an end to the tyranny that is placing us into boxes. This revolution started a long time before us. We just forgot about it. The power is in each of us to advance our dream and to fight for our own dreams, and I can't wait to wake up one morning and remember my dream of freedom. I can't wait for that dream to be a reality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie, for gracing us with your talent and representing your high school and family so well. Thank you. Now at this time, I'd like to introduce our boys and girls from Sanders Clyde Elementary School for your listening and entertainment pleasure. Under the leadership of Principal Janice Malone and under the direction of Crystal Hayward, Jesse Thrower, Linda Harvey, staff members Judy Trotter, Danielle Daniels, Bridget Hickman, and Sonia Major. Please let's give them a rousing round as they prepare to present and showcase their talents today. Let's give them another hand as they set up.
Thank you, thank you. Alors, comment allez-vous? Je m'appelle Jesse. Et vous? Say your name, first name. Now I know all of you. Okay, we taught them a rhythm called sofa. So we're going to play it for you, okay? Hope you enjoy. You ready? Sofa's a rhythm now that's played in the Warriors Club dance. This is rhythm played back during the early 1300s, way back then. Yeah. So, everybody ready?
Ready.
Everybody ready, Mark? Everybody ready? That's my voice when I go to the island. Yeah. Now you tell them, say one guy. One guy. That means let's go.
Thank you again for allowing our boys and girls to present tonight. Thank you.
And before she leaves, we'd like to ask Principal Malone. Miss Malone, you've been so good to those students. We love you. Let's give her a round of applause. Board members, we have some other very special recognitions for this evening. Our first is Mr. Anthony Brown, who's a senior from Burke High School. He's probably, Mr. Brown? Thank you to my jungle and my village. It takes the village to raise a child, but it takes the village and the jungle to raise a king. And standing before you is a king. Mr. Brown is a senior at Burke High School, and he shared these words with an audience of over 100 attendees at the South Carolina Education Association's 2020 Human and Civil Rights Luncheon on January 25th. Anthony received the Richard W. Riley Award and was the youngest award recipient at the annual event. Anthony has a passion for equity and social justice and is one of the many that's one of the many reasons why he was a student selected to participate in the Charleston County School District's Shared Future Project. At Burke, Anthony also participates in the Burke High School marching band, the school step team, and soccer team. He plans to major in business and has already received numerous acceptance letters and scholarship opportunities. Congratulations, Anthony. You make us proud. Thank you. Next, we'd like to introduce the 2020 CCSD Spelling Bee winner, Kirthana Samuel. She attends C.E. Williams Middle School. Let's give her a round of applause. She was among 40 spellers who participated in the CCSD 2020 Spelling Bee, which was held on January 16th at Burke High School. It took only 8 rounds for Kirthana to earn the top spot. She's among 17 other top spellers who will advance to the Post and Courier Spellbound 2020 competition in March. And the winner of Spellbound moves to the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. We wish you so much luck. Best of wishes to our spelling whiz, Kirthana Samuel. Our next honoree is Riley Silverman, who attends Hot Gap Middle School. Riley is a 12-year-old 7th grader who attends Hot Gap, and he actively works to fight hunger in his community. His efforts include helping pack weekend meals for students in need, maintaining a school vegetable garden that provides fresh produce to local shelters, and raising money to pay off school lunch debt. As a result of his efforts, he earned the Prudential Spirit of Community State Award. The Prudential Spirit of Community Award program is the United States' largest youth recognition program based exclusively on volunteer community service. Riley has partnered with 2 groups to hold restaurant spirit nights that have raised over $25,000 to cancel lunch debt for students at 4 schools. Riley, we are so proud of you and congratulations. And joining Riley is his principal, Mr. Travis Benintendo. We'd now like to ask the middle school mock trial state champions to come forward. Buste Academy is the middle school mock trial state champions, and the mock trial championship is a hands-on exercise in learning about due process. Students representing attorneys and witnesses for both sides of a fictional case role play that case and it's being tried in a court. The program teaches the legal process and trial procedure. Through participation in the mock trial program, students benefit from increasing basic skills such as listening, speaking, writing, reading, and problem analysis. The top 2 teams from each regional competition advance to the state championship, which was held in December. Standing before you are the South Carolina state champions of the middle school mock trial competition, our very own Buste Academy. Congratulations to the team and their teachers, Mr. Christopher Gardner and Ms. Liz Good, and their attorney coach, Ms. Beth Bailey. Thank you so much. We now would like to honor the South Carolina High School Ethics Bowl champs from West Ashley High School. And the Buste Academy principal, Ms. Shantae White. Hey, Shantae! Democracy is a form of society that encourages dissent and disagreement in government, among citizens, and between citizens and government. Democracy flourishes when dissenting opinions regularly are aired, heard, and responded to. But disagreement is an art form that must be learned. In a healthy democracy, people learn to discuss, debate, and disagree with others without demonizing them. Ethics Bowl is an exercise in the democratic art of disagreement. West Ashley High School is the winner of the 2020 South Carolina High School Ethics Bowl. Congratulations to advisor John Judge and the whole West Ashley team on their impressive performance. Congratulations. And they're joined by their principal, Mr. Ryan Comeback. Huh? I know, right? I knew that. And last but certainly not the least, the ITEAA 2019-2020 STEM School of Excellence Award. The International Technology and Engineering Educators Association announced that for the second time in 3 years, Lang Middle School was one of 10 recipients of its STEM School of Excellence recognition for the 2019-2020 school year. ITEA is a professional organization for technology, innovation, design, and engineering educators, and it recognizes outstanding schools for their commitment to providing a robust STEM education program. Lang launched its whole STEM initiative in 2012 with the goal of improving academic mastery, building the 21st century workplace skills, fostering interest in STEM careers, and narrowing the achievement gaps. Lang will officially be honored as part of ITEA's annual conference, which will be held in March. Congratulations to Mr. Whitehair, Dr. Goodwin, and the entire Lang Middle School family. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes our special recognition.
Oh, would you take pictures?
So Elvin's supposedly coming in a second, because they put Anna Daniels down, so they won't get all the time.
All right, at this time now, we'll have public comments. Ms. Darby?
Yeah.
Or just let them.
Okay. Whoops, sorry. Okay, public comments. I'm going to call probably like 3 people at a time, so you all can just be ready to come on up. And I think our first is a student, Elena Jarrett, and then Emily French, then Renea Jones. And we've got a timer up there, so you've got 2 minutes. And thanks everybody for being here.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kayla Pittman. I'm a 5th grader from Meeting Street at Brentwood. We appreciate this opportunity to have 7th and 8th grade at our school. At our school, our teachers push us to very high expectations. An example of them pushing us to very high expectations is like in math class, when if we don't know the answer to a question, the teachers won't just come and give us the answer. They'll actually push us and like help us. They'll explain the question to us, and then when we finally get it, then like we'll understand it more. And each grade, it has its own particular thing. In 5th grade, we have something called advisory, and advisory is 45 minutes long every single day. You come together with the teacher and the rest of your group, and you talk about how your day has been going and what do you want to improve about your day or make better, and that's all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And why don't, I know we've got a number of Meeting Street kids, so does Emily mind if we have the Meeting Street students all talk? Sure. Okay, thank you, and I'll come back. All right.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Frashonda Young, and I'm a 5th grader at Meeting Street. Thank you for letting me speak this evening and letting me become the best student I can be by having a 7th and 8th grade. Some examples that I love my school is because our community and our teachers setting high expectations for us. One example of my teacher setting high expectations for me is when we're in Wit and Wisdom, which is a language arts class where we learn about different histories. Is when we don't know a question, she doesn't just give us an answer, she explains it to us, and we have to figure it out on our own. And once we do it, she makes us believe in ourselves, and then we know we can do anything we can if we just try hard. Another example of how our school is a great school is because our activities in sports. One of the sports I have attended in Meeting Street School is basketball. Basketball is one of my favorite sports because our team at Meeting Street, they are very caring and loving, and even though we might not win a game, we still have positivity. Another reason why I love my school is because the positivity in our school. Soon as you walk through the Meeting Street doors, you see lots of smiles on each other's faces and welcoming hugs. Every time you walk down the hallway, you'll see warm smiles just to warm up your day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Jasiri Campbell, and I'm from Meeting Street Elementary, Brentwood, and I'm in 5th grade. Thank you for adding 7th grade and 8th grade. Something that is good about my school is that we have Fun Friday, and we have advisory to talk about good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susana De La Cruz. I'll be taking Ms. Campbell's space. As a parent, I would really appreciate if we can get 7th and 8th grade. The school has been really, really helpful to my son and to other children, of course. They take their job very serious. The teachers go above and beyond to help our kids, and not only my kids, but everybody's kids. And it will be really, really helpful if we can get 7th and 8th grade. Personally, my son is on 5th grade right now. I know that we still got 6th grade, and after that, I was honestly worried about if I needed to move to another area where I can find a good school for him, because if I don't, then the middle school that he's going to go to, it's not so good as Meeting at Elementary at Brentwood. So please help us to get 7th and 8th grade. It's just, we will really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to stand before you tonight. I think that adding the 7th and the 8th grade to Meeting Street at Brentwood is a great opportunity for the kids that's already attended. My son Jasiri has been a student at Brentwood since the 2nd grade, and he have learned so much, he have developed so much personal skills, social skills. He's never talked to anybody, so Meeting Street is a plus, and having the kids to continue to go there through middle school is a great opportunity for them and myself as well. I know transitioning to another school for him personally may not be a good thing, like getting new friends, and it's just good to stay with people that you know and are comfortable. But please, for the opportunity for the 7th and 8th grade to be added to Meeting Street at Brentwood. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think I've got all the Meeting Street students and family have spoken. Oh, yes? Okay, thank you. All right, so next is Emily French, then Susan Ash, and then Tony Reel.
Good evening. I'm here speaking in regard to the budget and capital projects, specifically how it affects Hersey Montessori. My daughter is in her 2nd year at Hersey, and our family is immensely grateful to the teachers, staff, and administrators who create an incredibly rich, loving, whole child environment in which to learn. However, teachers can do only so much with the tools and physical environment they're given in which to do their job successfully. We entered Hersey knowing that a renovation or new building was on the horizon. I recently learned that renovation is slated to begin this summer, and that the $5 million being allotted for upgrades would not likely be going toward more much-needed space in classrooms, but rather cosmetic improvements. This fact, alongside potentially hazardous issues including incessant leaks, mold, and pest riddling the current structure, it's of my opinion that anything less than a new building and the budget for it is simply unacceptable. Though we're the oldest Montessori school in the county, we inexplicably and continuously seem to be pushed to the lowest priority as we watch new schools being built with triple the budgets that we're receiving for the renovation. If I've learned anything in my 38 years, it's that if you're going to do anything, do it right. A new building, in my opinion, is the only right choice. I would like to think our children and teachers deserve that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Susan Ash, then Tony Reel, then Reagan DeBose Morris.
Good evening. My name is Susan Ash, and I'm here representing Hersey Montessori PTA. I also have 2 children that attend there. Our official motto at Hersey is whatever it takes. It's on our marquee, on our front, our newsletters, and our website, and it's our sign-off for the morning news show. We say it every day because we all know that every stakeholder in a Title I school in North Charleston must do whatever it takes every day to support student success. The statistics tell us how big the challenge is, but we are committed to do whatever it takes. Unfortunately, on rainy days, this means that we must do whatever it takes to teach. With water streaming in the classrooms, it means praying that mold that you see and smell is not going to make the children sick. It means finding creative ways to get the wiggles out on too hot or rainy days because we do not have a gym. It means doing whatever it takes to make an extra workstation fit into an already cramped room, even if it means that a teacher gives up their own workstation. We do whatever it takes for our kids because they deserve everything that we have. Our numbers prove that we are making a difference, and the character of a Hersey student is testament to our success. We ask the district, are you doing whatever it takes for our students at Hersey? As the first CCSD Montessori program, we watch the new buildings and renovations happen for other Montessori magnets. While we sit at the bottom of a list that we can't ever seem to climb, we drive by James Simmons' $14 million school. We drive by Community Montessori's $11 million campus, and then read that Hersey is only slated for $5 million. And we know that this is unfair and not acceptable. We know that CCSD is not doing whatever it takes to make sure that the families in North Charleston have access to the facilities that are equal to their peers. We have waited long enough and will not accept anything less than a new building and to be treated as an equal in the district. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Next is Tony Reel, then Reagan DeBose Morris, then Frank White.
Hi, my name is Tony Reale, and this is my son Sagan, and this is Brooks. Brooks currently goes to Hersey. I'm here with a couple other moms who aren't slated to speak, but we all have the same sentiment, and that is we love our school a lot. It is a beautiful experience. Brooks currently goes there. It's his second year. Sagan will be there in the fall, and we moved from James Island to Park Circle area in hopes that our children would get into Hersey. And it is completely unfair that Murray Lassane gets $11 million for their school, and my kid's school gets $5 million for cosmetic things. And we deserve a new school, period. North Charleston shouldn't get the short end of the stick here. These kids do deserve a clean, safe environment to learn in. And let me tell you that even though we have mold on our walls and that the kids have to exercise outside when it's raining, and our teachers do have them do that because they're not afraid of rain. Montessori kids bring a rain coat and rain boots, not afraid of it. But we deserve a gym, and we deserve all the same things that other kids in the district have. And so if you can look my children in the eyes and tell them they don't deserve that difference in budget for a new school, then you need to get to work. Thank you.
Next is Reagan DeBose Morris, then Frank White, then Anna Daniels.
So briefly, I'll state that the buildings are investments as well as promises for communities, and they go beyond simple structures. As you consider what's been built and what remains started but undone, as additionally what needs to still occur in order to meet the community's needs, I implore you to follow the lead of your assets. These are the talented staff members, amazing teachers, and dedicated administrators who have make it so the daily operations of this district run. We need people as well as buildings, transparency as well as security. We need all voices who can help prevent the mistakes of the past and lead us forward to a place where we are debating improvements towards excellence instead of simply making do. Show us what you can do for our families in every community of Charleston County.
Thank you. Next is Frank White. Okay. Frank White, all right. Then next is Anna Daniel, then Elvin Spites.
Good evening. I'm just going to allocate my time to Elvin.
All right, Mr. Spites.
How y'all doing as we meet again? So I had a big thing I was going to blow out, but I'm just going to say it like this. Speaking for Meeting Street, I live in the Wayland community. I know the families around there, the children here I see, they very well deserve to have that school extended. For anyone who has any opposition about these kids going from 5th to 6th grade to 8th grade in Meeting Street Academy, my question to them would be, what about our school choice? Because we don't get to say who gets to go to Orange Grove, so why should you get to say which one of us go to our middle school? That's our school choice. I've talked to the parents, I've talked to a lot of the kids, they love that school. And that's the choice they want. They want their kids to stay in the Meeting Street Academy model. They love it, it's a great idea. I think we should extend it. It's working, and I was hoping to have someone come up and say something against it. That didn't happen, so I don't really have to go there so much. I don't really have to go there now. I was looking forward to it. I brought all my facts and stuff there. Man, that's disappointing. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, definitely y'all, if we, these kids and these teachers and these people here, I met a lot of them, they deserve to have their school extended. If they want to go to 8th grade, we who do not have any kids in that school should not tell them what they can do with their children. We don't get to, we in the black community don't get to tell and I hate to say it this way, the majority white schools that their kids can't go there, so then they shouldn't be able to tell us that we can't put our kids here. Just want to say that.
Thank you. And I just want to double check, yeah. Ms. Taylor.
Francis Stillwell.
Oh, okay. Francis Baylight. It says Frank White, but I think it's supposed to be Francis Baylight. Frank, did you want to talk? Did you want to speak?
No, you got a mix up.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's a Frank White. Just double checking to make sure we're not missing a Frank White.
Wait a minute.
Are we missing anybody else who signed up to speak? Okay.
Mr. Chair, can we clarify for the audience, it's a procedural thing, but that because it's under potential consent, that the Meeting Street expansion has already been approved by the board? Can you explain how that?
Yes, Dr. Postaway and I just had a conversation in
Thank
reference to that. So I believe the young ones came out tonight to thank us for approving the extension of the 7th and 8th grade, which has already been approved. And so we graciously accept your thanks and to let you know that we are looking for great things to happen with this extension piece, and we will be seeing those results as they come out in the years to come. So congratulations on that ability to do this.
The parents from Hershey that have the issues with the building, if you'd be kind enough to send us some pictures, photos of the mold and the leaks and proposals, and let us know the needs of the building, what you have in mind.
Send us the pictures. Send us the pictures. I like that. Good comment. Send us the pictures.
All right, thank you so much. At this time now, we'll have the superintendent report.
I don't have much left to report. I think students have said it all tonight. We are moving forward, implementing the actions that the board has taken. You see the results of students at Sanders Clyde. That is an outcome of the community's desires for the best for their children, an excellent principal with a clear vision of what that school could be, a rich and engaging partnership with engaging creative minds, artists and volunteers from the community coming to work in Sanders Clyde to help us truly make it a school of the arts. And we couldn't be more proud of the accomplishments of those students. Their academic record, they were one of the most rapidly improving schools in the district in academics this past year, and we look for the same good kinds of results from them this year. So they are firing on all cylinders. The other students who are recognized tonight also come from throughout the district and show the hard work that's occurring on the part of our principals and teachers, support staff as well. I'd like to ask Carolyn Belcher, the new Chief Academic Officer, to stand, please. If she would. Jeff Barowie, the Chief Operating Officer, who takes care of the building construction, all the non-instructional matters that don't fall into finance. Erica Taylor in Communications is the Chief of Staff. Bill Brigman, Chief HR Officer, who had, I think, the most successful on-record ever recruiting fair on Saturday. Dawn Kennedy, who is the Chief Administrative Officer who handles finances. And is there another chief officer in the room? I don't want to embarrass someone by calling his or her name. Okay.
Natalie.
Natalie.
I don't think of her. She's the staff attorney. But the work that really has occurred to get us to this point with the actions that the board has approved have occurred under their leadership. So I want to thank them and acknowledge now the huge handoff is to Carolyn Belcher and all the learning services team, to Jeff Barowie and the operations team, to Bill Brigman, the human resources team. Dawn Kennedy has to figure out how to finance everything that we've approved and make sure that children have the supports that they need. And then Erica Taylor and her team have to figure out how to communicate it and get deep community engagement. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to recognize them and thank them for the work they did that got represented at this table for the past. So what's coming to you in March are some moving forward on the implementation of the early childhood programs, some more details about the kinds of supports and involvement of the schools that were identified for extra support as acceleration schools, some curriculum priorities in the core areas, particularly looking at math and ELA recommendations. As you know, the school choice window's been open. It closes at the end of this week. We have some testing that will be occurring in March. The kindergarten children who have applied for Menninger who are outside of District 20 will all be screened as the board had requested. So that will be occurring in March, and then the assessments for students at other choice schools that require testing will be occurring in March. We anticipate letters going out to parents around the 1st of April. The final thing I wanted to mention tonight is that the student transfer request window opens on or about March 1st. So we'll be moving in that direction now with implementation of the mission critical actions and the much more deeper involvement and engagement of the communities in how to do the what's that the board has approved. So thank you for giving me a moment just to recognize our staff and tell you what's next.
Okay. All right. Is there any questions for the superintendent? Hearing none, we will
move to approve option D for the academic calendar.
Second.
properly move it second for the approval of option D. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we ask that you please cast your vote. Mr. Hollenshed, are you still there? How do you vote? I'm sorry? Okay, thank you. Reverend Collins. Okay, that motion passes. Is there any public comments for non-agenda items?
No,
Ms. Darby?
we did them all.
Okay. All right.
Move to
Hearing.
adjourn.
No, hold on a second.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, no, those were moved to consent and the opening of the meeting. If you can just allow me just 3.5 minutes, Mr. Garrett. 3.5 minutes. So this past weekend, I was at the South Carolina School Board Association conference over this past weekend, and I brought back, if you would look at this first, where it says 10 key finance facts board members may want to know. This was a very, very fruitful session, and I will not bore you with reading through everything, but there were 10 questions that was laid out that board members should be asking during the budget process, and direct questions that we should be asking or information that we should be aware of while we're participating in the process. And I wanted to share that information with you. Some of these questions you may not even know the answer to, but it will be very prudent for us to be able to know where some of these, how some of these budget process or decision-making happens in the process, and knowing how to ask questions of our CFO when the issues arise. And I believe Mr. Kennedy, who has been very efficient in our budget process over the last couple of years. The other handout that you may see, it talks about which style brings to the table. And I wanted to share this simply because board members, we all bring something different to the table. And one of the exercise that was expressed and used in the room, if you take your hand and just clasp it together like this. If you can do it. Now, if you would just, comfortably you do it this way, right? But if you were to flip-flop it like this, how does that feel?
Weird.
Feels awkward, doesn't it? We all bring different styles, different techniques to the table, and in some way, some shape, form, or manner. So this process, and this is when we do our workshop, I believe that this will help us to better identify and to understand board members, their style, their thinking, and some of the thoughts that come to their mind, so we can better appreciate some of the comments that we do hear from board members and some of the reactions that we do get. So to know that sometimes, the reaction may not be as bad as you think. It's just that their style and their thinking and their technique and how they operate. So this is a thorough breakdown of if once we do the exercise, it really groups you into blue, yellow, green, and orange, and it helps you to identify some of your traits and your what you bring to the table. So something to read and something to really think about. Why are you laughing? My last thing I wanted to share with you, and this has been one of my biggest pet peeves over the years, and when we talk about academics and we talk about our students and we talk about engagement, how kids come, some readily prepared, some on having the ability to have food from home, some that leave that goes back home and don't have anything to eat, and how important it is to make sure that we're making sure that we're serving food that's more appealing and option levels for all of our students. And I visited Buford High School, and I took some pictures to show to you just the different options that was readily available to the students inside that building. There's 1,500 students, and one of the questions that I asked was, all of these options that you see in this handout, if the student body was just 500 or 450, would the same option be readily available to these students? And the answer was yes. So it doesn't matter where you live, if it's across the bridge, what zip code you are, the different options that was available to these students, whether it's 1,500 or 500, was the same. And that's the point I was trying to get across, because we need options, right? We need options for our kids, because when they do come to school, we can't go into the assumption that everybody's coming with a stomach full and will leave and be able to have the ability when they get home to have that same meal. So being able to serve kids appropriately throughout the school day puts them in a position to want to learn. Because if any of you go through the workday and do not eat breakfast, do not eat lunch, your thinking skills and your ability is not at the highest level.
That explains it.
Yeah.
So when we have options, right, and when we have options and have that ability to be able to do that, our kids better perform, and I believe that our discipline issues will decrease, and I believe that our test scores will increase to the level of having these types of service and options available. So you will see me be coming back to talk about food services a little bit more, and to see how we can make sure that we're having equitable opportunities across the district in all of our schools. It doesn't matter if there's 500 students or 4,000 students, that they're getting the same options and the levels of availability. That is my report. And if there being no further questions,
Move to adjourn.
so move.